Eric Trump, Newt Gingrich, Mike Pence with barn-burning speeches, and Ted Cruz almost burned at the stake. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
Ted Cruz told Donald Trump 2 days before his speech that he was not going to endorse him. And Trump let him speak anyway. See, I think that that's class on Trump's part, and I think it's lowbrow on Cruz's part. Why didn't Cruz think this through when he said, yes, I'll support the nominee? He made the promise. Jeb Bush made the promise. But you've heard enough about that. Why do we have government? See, Ted Cruz's line, vote your conscience, is actually flawed because some people have a flawed conscience. Some people's conscience is malformed. Listen to this quote from the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. All right, this is a philosophical statement. It has no binding power in law. Karl Marx said that the main purpose of government is the redistribution of wealth. So if somebody was taught Karl Marx's ideas their whole life, yeah, big rich people should be paying their way, they should be helping you. If somebody has their conscience formed by that, and someone else has their conscience formed by this Declaration of Independence phrase, who's right? Whose conscience is right? Well, ultimately, God, who made heaven and earth and gave us the Ten Commandments, He's the ultimate lawgiver. So the closer we get to a theocentric, God-centered understanding of law and rights and the purpose of government, then the closer we will be to the truth and to then having a proper conscience. Are you hearing me? Let me explain this really quick because I want to play Eric Trump's speech. You're going to see some great clips here, but you've got to grasp this. Your responsibility is you. Your clothing, the roof over your head, your food. It's your responsibility. Now, if your family can help you, your extended family, your neighbors, but it's your responsibility. It's not the government's responsibility. My children are my responsibility. Our clothing. This is what it means to be free. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Governments are instituted to protect these so that I can be free to walk around and not fear being killed or captured or imprisoned arbitrarily. I have the freedom to make a living. I can pursue happiness. I've got opportunities. That's the American philosophical underpinning. That's not what Hillary wants. And so with Cruz saying what he did, it was his way of saying, I'm not going to endorse Trump and you just vote your conscience. Nonsense. If someone's conscience can allow them to vote for Hillary Clinton, then their conscience is corrupt, whether they know it or not. Okay? Governments are in place for policy, for laws. That's why we have them. And the idea that we have in this country is that God, who gives us our rights, has governments instituted among men to protect our God-given rights. So that's what this election is about, friend. And I ask you, who's going to do more to protect our God-given rights? Hillary or Trump? Who's going to do more to take away our God-given rights? Hillary or Trump? All right, let's hear from Eric Trump. I started to tear up when I watched it. Just the thought of this son having these words to endorse his father, it was wonderful. Go ahead, hope you enjoy this clip.
To whom much is given, much will be required. This is the very belief that compelled my father to make this great sacrifice, to run for the most powerful yet unforgiving office in the world. There is no greater calling. There is no more selfless an act. To the unemployed voter sitting at home watching me right now, wondering how you're going to make your next mortgage payment or rent payment, my father is running for you. To the veteran tuning into the speech from his or her hospital who has been ignored and disrespected by an ungrateful system for far too long, my father is running for you. To the school teacher forced to walk through metal detectors each and every day into an underfunded school, my father is running for you. To the laborer watching me right now, forced out of a job by undocumented workers, illegal immigrants, my father is running for you. To the oil and gas industry worker denied a job because of radical regulations from a radical EPA, my father is running for you. To single mothers, to families with special needs children, to middle-class families who can no longer afford medical benefits sufficient to cover their everyday needs, my father is running for you. This November, I ask you to be true to yourself and vote for the candidate who you know is running for the right reasons. Vote for the candidate who has never been a politician. Vote for the candidate who has never received a paycheck from our government. Thank you. Vote for the candidate who can't be bought, sold, purchased, bribed, coerced, intimidated, or steered from the path that is right and just and true. And quite frankly, friends, vote for the one candidate who does not need this job. Never have I been more proud to be a Trump. Never have I been more proud to be my father's son. I am incredibly honored to be part of this journey of which he's invited me, Don, Ivanka, Tiffany, Melania, my beautiful wife Laura, our entire family to play such an integral part. Dad, you have once again taught us by example. You are my hero. You are my best friend. You are the next President of the United States. God bless America.
All right, I'm going to take a quick break. Congratulations to you, Eric, and Mr. Trump. I'm sure that you're proud of your children and with very good cause. Newt Gingrich coming up and Mike Pence. Boy, Newt Gingrich hits it out of the park regarding the fact that we are, in fact, at war with Islam. Don't go away. If you own a business and would like to advertise on our program, please contact us. We are currently seen on over 130 television stations from coast to coast. We air at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then all times are local. We have a lot of reach, friend, and this is an opportunity at a great price for you to get your product or your service in front of hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people. Also, if there's something that's important to you and you'd like to have a month where you just say thank you to this ministry or promote a certain ministry or a certain cause, contact us. Our rates are incredibly affordable. You'd be surprised. And you, again, can reach into hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of homes. We're currently seen possibly in over 30 million homes. So give us a call, give us an email, and we'll put a commercial up for you. When Winston Churchill said that Adolf Hitler was a threat, people mocked him. Did you know that they mocked him early on? And so Churchill had to make his case. Churchill was right, as we all now know. Well, Newt Gingrich takes his playbook, the Churchill playbook, and puts it to use regarding Islam. Watch this speech.
Now, I think you misunderstood one paragraph that Ted Cruz, who was a superb orator, said. And I just want to point it out to you. Ted Cruz said, you can vote your conscience for anyone who will uphold the Constitution. In this election, there is only one candidate who will uphold the Constitution. So, to paraphrase Ted Cruz, if you want to protect the Constitution of the United States, the only possible candidate this fall is the Trump-Pence Republican ticket. That way, we have a Republican ticket to implement Republican principles in Washington. Now, we are at war. We are at war with radical Islamists. They are determined to kill us. They are stronger than we admit, and there is no substitute for victory. In contrast to Donald Trump, our national security and foreign policy elites, led by Hillary Clinton, are incapable of speaking with such honesty. While they lie about the threat, we need to tell the truth about the danger. If our enemies had their way, not a single woman in this room could define her future. If our enemies had their way, gays, lesbians, and transgender citizens would be put to death as they are today in the Islamic State in Iran. If our enemies had their way, every person on earth would be subject to conversion by the sword and to a cruel and violent system of law. There would be no individual liberty. There would be no equality. There would be no freedom. If you doubt we are at war, if you doubt that this threat is as real as I say, let me refresh your memory. On Monday, an Afghan refugee in Germany used an axe and knives to slash and wound train passengers while shouting Allahu Akbar. Last week, ISIS claimed responsibility after a Tunisian man drove a cargo truck into a crowd in Nice, France. He murdered 84 people, including 10 children, 3 Americans, and injured over 300 others. 2 weeks ago, almost 300 people were killed and more than 200 were wounded in bombing attacks in Baghdad. 2 days before that, radical Islamists in Bangladesh killed 20 hostages, including 3 American college students. A few days before that, at the Istanbul airport in Turkey, ISIS attackers armed with guns and bombs killed 44 people and injured hundreds more. Last month, a radical Islamist in Paris stalked a French police officer to his home, where he murdered the officer, tortured his wife to death in front of their 3-year-old son, while streaming it all on social media. He was pondering out loud whether to kill the 3-year-old when he was killed by police. 2 days before that, an attacker pledging allegiance to ISIS killed 49 people in an Orlando nightclub and wounded dozens more. All this in just the past 37 days. We cannot let ourselves grow numb to these accumulating atrocities. One analysis estimated that since January of 2015, some 30,000 people have been killed at the hands of terrorists. Let's be clear. Donald Trump is right. We are at war with radical Islamists. We are losing the war, and we must change course to win the war.
I'll be right back, friend. We're going to play another clip from Newt Gingrich's speech. Powerful stuff. And Mike Pence coming up, too. Don't go away. Friend, this program is supported by friends like you who believe in what we are doing. We run a very tight ship. Thankfully, we are on over 130 stations across the country, having tremendous impact. We get emails every day. We get letters in the mail, not every day, but almost every day. We hear from people who love what we're doing. What people don't understand is that it's sort of expensive to produce a television show like this. It doesn't require earth-shattering funds, but it does require financial help. So I am asking you, if you enjoy this program, throw us a $10 or a $20 bill every once in a while, or even a $50 or a $100 check. You see the address there on the screen. Your gifts are not tax deductible, by the way, because we want to be able to say what we want to say regarding politics without the IRS telling us no. So if you like the program, I ask for your support. The reason that I say that we are at war with Islam is because Islam, as an ideology, as a philosophy, as a blueprint for the takeover of the world, started by Muhammad, Islam has declared war on us. That's what they actually call us, Dar al-Harb, the house of war, or the house of infidels. So of course we're at war with Islam. And Newt Gingrich prosecutes that case. Watch this clip from last night. Friend, I'll be right back. Great job, Newt. I'll be right back, and we're going to play some portions of Michael Pense, the vice presidential nominee. Don't go away.
Let me be very clear, because I know the news media will do their best to distort this. We have nothing to fear from the vast majority of Muslims in the United States or around the world. The vast majority are peaceful. They are often the victims themselves. They are people we'd be happy to have as our friends and neighbors. The challenge is when even a small percentage of 1,600,000,000 people support violence against those who disagree with them. That is still a giant recruiting base. For example, Pew Research finds that only 9% of Muslims in Pakistan view ISIS favorably. Unfortunately, 9% is 16 million people. And that's just one country. So the truth is, although we are losing the war with radical Islamists, we have been very lucky. The danger we face is much worse than the horrors that happened in Germany on New Year's Eve when 1,200 women were assaulted. It's worse than what's happening in France, where there are stabbings of Jews in the streets, and the nation's security chief warned recently that Europe is, quote, on the brink of civil war. It's worse than what's happening in Israel, where average citizens fear for their lives whenever they leave their homes. The danger is even worse than September 11th, when 19 hijackers murdered almost 3,000 Americans. The worst-case scenario is losing an American city to terrorists armed with weapons of mass destruction. Instead of losing 3,000 people in one morning, we could lose more than 300,000. Instead of losing 2 great buildings, we could lose block after block after block to a nuclear event. That's not just my view. Back in January of 2001, the Hart-Rudman Commission warned the terrorists, quote, will acquire weapons of mass destruction and some will use them. Americans will likely die on American soil, possibly in large numbers, close quote. 15 years later, the dangers are even greater. In a world where Pakistan has nuclear weapons, where North Korea has nuclear weapons, and where Iran, the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, is close to having nuclear weapons, this, a catastrophic attack on innocent Americans, is a very real threat. Which brings us to the heart of the matter. We are sleepwalking through history as though this is all about politics. It is not. It is about our safety and our survival as a country. We cannot keep in place the people and the systems that have brought us to this point and that lie to us every single day about the threat. That is why every American should be terrified at the prospect of a Hillary Clinton presidency. Hillary Clinton has been right at the center of this dishonesty. We know this administration and its allies lied to us about the Iran nuclear deal. We know it because they openly bragged about it to the New York Times. We know that Hillary Clinton lied to us knowingly about the terror attack on our Benghazi consulate. We know that Hillary Clinton and President Obama lie to the American people when they say they can safely screen the Syrian refugees. They cannot. And yet, Hillary wants to increase the number by 500%. So when you hear about Hillary's dishonesty of the emails or taking millions from the Saudis and other Middle Eastern dictatorships, remember, this is not about politics. The cost of Hillary's dishonesty could be the loss of America as we know it.
I want to invite you to go to our website. Almost every book that I have ever written is available as a PDF online for free. We have a ton of products, training materials, tools that are available for you for free. All we ask for is that you give us your email address. That's it, so that we can stay in touch with you and, yes, from time to time, ask you to support this work. So I'm inviting you, go to the website. Now, for those of you who say, well, I don't want a PDF, I want a real book. You can get one of my books. All you have to do is pay for shipping and handling and then give whatever gift you want. And if you can't afford anything, we'll send you the book for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Why are we doing all this? Because we want to change the direction of the country and we need to raise up a fresh generation of warriors to do that. That's why we have this tool. I invite you, go to the website, see for yourself. Michael Pence showed himself to be the material of a vice president and a president in last night's speech. This is what we need to be focusing on, not Ted Cruz's hissy fit.
We will win the hearts and minds of the American people with an agenda for a stronger and more prosperous America. Now, the establishment in Washington, D.C. thinks it's only a narrow range of voters who are giving Donald Trump a serious look. But I can tell you firsthand, there's a lot of Americans out there who feel like Democrat politicians have taken them for granted. It's union members who don't want a president who promises to put a lot of coal miners and coal companies out of business. Those miners want an American energy policy, and they know that Donald Trump digs coal. It's African Americans who remember generations of hollow promises about safe streets and better schools. And they know Donald Trump will fight for equal opportunity, and he loves educational choice. And it's Hispanic Americans who respect the law, want jobs and opportunities for their families, who know that Donald Trump will uphold the law and get this economy moving for every American. You know, the party of Lincoln was founded on equality of opportunity. And during these difficult days, it will be our party and our agenda that opens the doors for every American to succeed and prosper in this land. You know, in so many ways, the Democratic Party has abandoned those it used to protect. Maybe they become too entrenched in power, so comfortable at times that they lose patience with the normal legislative process. It's so much simpler to impose their values by executive order or court action. And make no mistake about it, Hillary Clinton has some big ideas along those lines, too.
Great job, Mr. Pence. Friends, I look forward to being with you tomorrow. Tonight is Trump's speech of acceptance. God bless you.